New details tonight on a story from earlier this week on News 5. A woman who had to be airlifted to Penrose Hospital after being bit by a rattlesnake at Ute Valley Park. And we're learning now she was actually treated by a Penrose physician before even reaching the hospital. Thanks to some very good timing. Let's check in with News 5's Laura Wilson in studio tonight with a follow-up. Boy, talk about right place, right time.
Wow. Yes, and Dr. Chris Layton has been here for over a decade, and he said he's only seen 2 rattlesnakes. So it was just by complete chance this week that he came across a woman shortly after she had been bit by one right here in Colorado Springs. And as most doctors would, he jumped right in to help.
Emergency physician Chris Layton has seen a lot on and off the job during his almost 12-year stint in Colorado Springs.
I've had people dislocate their shoulder skiing, and I've relocated them on the side of the hill, but this was the most dramatic situation with a very sick patient.
He had planned on going mountain biking in Ute Valley Park earlier this week, but instead came upon emergency vehicles and a woman who had been bit by a rattlesnake while walking her dog.
She could tell she was in pain, but she was confused, somewhat delirious.
Paramedics were already on scene when Layton stepped in to offer what Penrose Hospital described as critical medical attention. Though Layton was a bit more modest as he recalled what happened.
They had already established one IV. I suggested a second, and giving her IV fluids, as well as starting a blood pressure support medication.
He also called ahead to Penrose to make sure that antivenom would be ready by the time she was airlifted there. Layton tells News 5 witnesses and emergency responders did exactly what you should do in this type of situation.
The kicker with most of these folks is time. So if there's anyone with you, obviously this would be probably the one time I would tell folks to send somebody to get help if they don't have cell coverage.
We're told the snakebite victim has since been moved out of the ICU and she's up and moving around.
Now, a couple tips here if this happens to you or a friend. If possible, call 911 immediately. Try not to exert yourself and get that part of your body elevated as soon as possible. And you've probably seen this trick in movies where someone sucks the poison out. Well, Layton says don't do it. He tells us it's not effective and it doesn't really remove any significant amount of venom. Always watching out for you, Southern Colorado. Laura Wilson, News 5.